Hello, my name is Karen Starr. This is my husband David.
Hello.
I am 60 years old and I have a wonderful testimony I would like to share with you from my heart. I had not been able to see very well. I thought I needed a new prescription of glasses. So I went to the ophthalmologist. And right away, he said that there was a problem and that I needed to see a retinologist. And so he sent me to this specialist, and immediately he said we had a problem. And he did some special tests and found out within a matter of a couple of days that I had macular degeneration. And it was what they called wet macular degeneration, which only affects about 10% of people who do have macular degeneration. It causes you to lose your sight very quickly over a short period of time. So I was losing my sight, and that's why I couldn't see very well. And I was, of course, very concerned about this. And the course of action was to give me a cancer drug and to do it with injections into my actual eyeball itself. And I had had two of these, and on a Friday night, or excuse me, on a Thursday night, I had told my husband that I was so afraid that I would not live to see my grandchildren. We have 4 children, none of whom are married yet, but the one thing that I've always wanted to be is a grandma. And I was so afraid that I would not get to see my grandchildren. And it was very disconcerting to me. And my husband was praying for me. And we had heard about Nasir's miracle healing service the next night in Ontario. And so we went. And I went with an expectation that the Lord was going to heal me. And he had called up several things. First of all, one of which was depression, which I had. And when Reverend Nasir came to me, he said, "You have like a backpack on your back of depression." And he said, "The Lord's removing that right now." And when he said that, immediately I felt a lifting off of my back. It was incredible. I felt such a lightening, and it was so wonderful. And then I went back to my seat, and Reverend Nasir called up for blind eyes to come forward. And so I went. And as I was waiting for my turn to be prayed for, Reverend Nasir came to me and he said, "Before I pray for you, the Lord has a word for you. The Lord says that you have a fear that you are never going to see your grandchildren." And I knew that that was from the Lord because I had just spoken that to my husband the night before. And he said to me that the Lord wants you to know that you will never go blind in your lifetime. And then he prayed for me, a powerful prayer. And I went away rejoicing. I didn't feel any differently at the time. I didn't see any differently at the time, but I knew in my heart that there was a difference. And I came home, and a few days later, we have closed captioning on our TV, and I could read that. And I had not been able to do that. And I had an appointment with the retinologist on October 7th, and I went to him, and Before, when they did the eye test, I was 200. I could barely see the big E, and I only knew what the big E was because it was there, but it was all blurry. And when I got up to do the eye test, I could read down farther and farther and farther. And I thought, Lord, this is miraculous. And I got all the way down to 2040. And that's almost 2020. And the Lord just quickened in my heart that He had done a work in my life. And the doctor came in and he said, Mrs. Starr, you have had a tremendous change in your vision. He said, these injections must be doing an absolute wonderful work in your vision. And I said, no, I've had a miracle from the Lord. And he looked at me kind of funny, and I said, God did this for me. And he said, well, I can't deny that there's been a change in your vision. But he said, let's wait and see what happens. So I went back on October 5th, and my vision is now 20/30. And then I went back just this last week, and it is 20/25. I'm almost to 20/20. So I am rejoicing with the angels in heaven that I can see, I can read, I can see when I drive. It's just a miracle that's happened. And Reverend Nasir has been a blessing that God used in my life to be the hands of Jesus to me. And I am so thankful that He spoke to that fear that I had in my life. Jesus broke that fear that I had before He touched me and healed me. And it's just a wonderful thing. And I'm so happy about it. And now I will see my grandchildren someday. So thank you for listening to me. It's been a wonderful time to share this with you. I hope it encourages your heart. The Lord said, I am the Lord that healeth thee. And that's what I have been standing on. And my husband went forward that night for some healing, and he's been healed in his body. We were with two friends. They received healing in their bodies. Prayer changes things. And God is living proof that He is a miracle working God, and He desires to touch His children and heal them and make them whole. Thank you.